This vitamin repairs nerve pain in 15 minutes. My name is Dr. Alina Serratia, and I have spent years watching patients walk into my office carrying the same quiet suffering. They feel tingling in their hands that wakes them in the night. They feel a burning sensation in their feet that makes every step uncomfortable. They feel a creeping numbness that moves up their legs and steals the simple pleasure of walking. Most of them have already been to several doctors. Most of them have already been told that this is simply part of getting older. But I want you to hear me clearly right now. You do not have to accept that answer, because that answer is incomplete. Nerve damage is one of the most misunderstood and underestimated conditions in modern medicine. It is growing at a rate that should concern all of us, and it is not limited to people with serious illness or advanced disease. It is affecting ordinary, active people who simply have not been given the right nutritional information. The way most people eat today, the way most people move today, and the way the body changes with age are all quietly working against the health of the nervous system. What makes this particularly frustrating is that the tools to support and protect nerve health are not complicated or inaccessible. They are sitting in grocery stores and available at every meal. Understanding this reality is the first and most important step toward doing something meaningful about your own nerve health. The causes of nerve deterioration are many, but the ones I see most consistently in my practice are surprisingly manageable. Poor diet strips the body of the specific vitamins and minerals that nerve tissue depends on for daily maintenance and repair. A sedentary lifestyle reduces circulation and starves nerve fibers of the oxygen they need to stay alive and functional. Chronic conditions like diabetes create a chemically hostile environment for nerve tissue over time, and the aging process itself gradually reduces the body's ability to absorb and utilize certain critical nutrients, even when those nutrients are present in the diet. Here is the truth that I have built my entire practice around, and the truth I want to share with you today. The human body possesses a remarkable built-in capacity to heal itself. Given the right environment, the right raw materials, and the right nutritional support, nerve tissue can repair, regenerate, and rebuild itself more effectively than most people ever imagine. I have watched patients in their late 70s and early 80s turn their nerve health around in meaningful ways simply by addressing what they were eating. The results were not overnight, but they were real, they were measurable, and they were lasting. The body does not give up on itself as easily as we sometimes give up on the body. The body wants to heal. Our only real job is to stop getting in its way and start giving it what it needs. Vitamins and specific nutrients are not optional accessories to good health. They are the actual raw materials that the nervous system uses to do its most essential work. They rebuild damaged nerve fibers. They protect the fragile membranes that surround nerve cells. They improve the speed and accuracy of electrical signaling. They neutralize the oxidative damage that gradually destroys nerve tissue over years and decades. What I find most encouraging about this is that many of these nutrients are available in ordinary foods that are not expensive or difficult to find. You do not need exotic supplements or complicated protocols. You need consistent, informed choices about what goes on your plate. Today, I am going to introduce you to 7 incredible nutrients that I consider absolutely essential for anyone who is serious about protecting and restoring their nerve health. Before we get into the specific nutrients, I want to give you a foundation that will help everything else make more sense. Our bodies are constructed from and maintained by 3 major categories of nutrients. The first is protein, which serves as the primary building material for every cell in the body, including every nerve cell. Without a consistent supply of good quality protein, the body simply does not have the structural materials needed to repair damaged nerve fibers or build new cellular components. Protein is not optional for nerve repair. It is the construction material itself. The second major nutrient category is fat. And this is where decades of misleading nutritional advice have done enormous harm. Healthy, Natural fats are not the enemy of good health. They are deeply and fundamentally essential to it. Your brain is nearly 60% fat. The myelin sheath that insulates and protects your nerve fibers is made almost entirely of specialized fats. When the body is deprived of good quality dietary fat, nerve cell membranes become rigid and fragile. The myelin sheath deteriorates, and the entire electrical communication system of the nervous system begins to break down. The tingling, the numbness, and the nerve pain that so many people experience are often a direct reflection of fat-poor nutrition. The third major nutrient category is carbohydrates. While they are not structurally essential to nerve tissue in the same way protein and fat are, they do serve as the primary fuel that powers all cellular activity, including nerve signaling. The critical distinction is between quality carbohydrates and harmful ones. Refined sugars and processed grains drive blood sugar spikes that create systemic inflammation, accelerate cellular aging, and over time produce the kind of metabolic damage that destroys peripheral nerves. Natural carbohydrates from whole vegetables, legumes, and unrefined grains provide steady energy without these destructive consequences. Every meal you eat is either feeding your nerves or quietly working against them, and understanding this about carbohydrates puts a powerful choice back in your hands. Of all the nutrients I recommend for nerve health, the B vitamin complex occupies a place of foundational importance. These 8 related vitamins function as a coordinated team inside the body, and their collective impact on the nervous system is profound. They are directly involved in generating the energy that nerve cells need to fire properly. They are essential for synthesizing the protective myelin sheath around nerve fibers. They are required for the production of neurotransmitters, which are the chemical messengers that allow nerve cells to communicate with each other and with every tissue and organ in the body. When I think about the single most important nutritional category for the nervous system, it is always the B vitamins that come to mind first. And that is not an exaggeration. When the body becomes depleted in B vitamins, the nervous system begins to show signs of distress that are often misattributed to other causes. A persistent, unshakable fatigue sets in that no amount of rest resolves. Mental clarity becomes elusive. Mood becomes unstable and flat. Nerve responses slow down noticeably. Vitamin B12 is particularly significant for people over 60 because the aging stomach produces less of the compound needed to absorb it from food. Even people eating B12-rich diets can become deficient. Low B12 is directly and clearly associated with nerve fiber degeneration, loss of balance, and peripheral neuropathy. Vitamin B1 ensures that glucose is properly converted into energy inside nerve cells. Vitamin B6 drives the synthesis of neurotransmitters that nerve cells rely on for communication. Folate, or B9, supports the production of new cells and the repair of existing tissue. All of these must be present together for the B-complex system to function at its best, which is why consuming the full spectrum through diet is always preferable to supplementing with a single isolated B vitamin. Lean meats, eggs, dairy products, legumes, leafy greens, and whole grains all contribute meaningfully to daily B vitamin intake. I always encourage my patients to think of building a wide dietary base rather than chasing one single nutrient, because the B vitamins teach us that synergy is more powerful than isolation in the world of nutrition. Vitamin C is perhaps the most widely recognized vitamin in the world, yet its specific role in protecting the nervous system remains largely unknown to the people who need it most. At its core, vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant. Every day, your nerve cells are exposed to a stream of destructive molecules called free radicals, which are generated by normal metabolic processes, environmental toxins, and inflammation. Left unchecked, Free radicals steadily damage nerve cell membranes, disrupt signaling pathways, and accelerate the deterioration of nerve tissue. Vitamin C neutralizes these molecules before they can do lasting harm. The protective work it does at the cellular level is constant, which is why maintaining a steady daily intake rather than relying on occasional high doses is the most effective approach. What makes vitamin C even more effective is the presence of bioflavonoids, which are natural plant compounds found alongside vitamin C in whole fruits and vegetables. Bioflavonoids work synergistically with vitamin C to enhance its antioxidant activity and extend its protective effects throughout the body. This is one of the clearest examples of why obtaining nutrients from whole food sources is superior to isolated supplementation. Vitamin C is also directly involved in the production of collagen, the structural protein that forms the physical scaffolding surrounding nerve pathways, and in supporting immune function that protects the nervous system from inflammatory damage. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, and this quality is what makes it indispensable to nerve health in a way that vitamin C cannot replicate. Because it is fat-soluble, vitamin E is able to penetrate deep into the fatty membranes of nerve cells and into the lipid-rich myelin sheath itself. It works from within the most vulnerable structures of the nervous system, neutralizing the oxidative damage that accumulates inside these fatty environments over time. Research has consistently found associations between low vitamin E status and accelerated nerve degeneration, particularly in older adults whose absorption of fat-soluble vitamins naturally declines with age. The best food sources of vitamin E are also some of the most nutritionally rich foods available. Almonds, sunflower seeds, and hazelnuts are highly concentrated sources that are easy to incorporate into daily meals. Dark leafy greens, such as spinach and Swiss chard, contribute meaningful amounts alongside a wide range of other beneficial nutrients. Avocados provide vitamin E in combination with the healthy monounsaturated fats that the nervous system also needs. For people already experiencing nerve symptoms, increasing vitamin E intake through these whole food sources as part of a broader nutritional approach can contribute to a more favorable environment for healing and repair. Vitamin D is unique among the nutrients we are discussing today because it functions in the body not only as a vitamin but as a regulatory hormone. It influences the activity of hundreds of genes across virtually every tissue in the body, and many of those genes are directly involved in maintaining the health and function of the nervous system. One of its most critical roles is ensuring the proper absorption and regulation of calcium, and this has direct consequences for nerve health because calcium is one of the key minerals involved in generating and transmitting nerve impulses. Without adequate vitamin D, this mineral regulation falls out of balance and nerve signaling becomes unstable. What concerns me most in my practice is that this deficiency is silent. Most people with low vitamin D feel nothing dramatic at first, while the damage quietly accumulates beneath the surface over months and years. Low vitamin D is strongly associated with nerve-related conditions, including peripheral neuropathy, and I have personally witnessed patients experience significant reductions in nerve discomfort after their vitamin D levels were corrected. The connection is not coincidental. Sunlight exposure remains the most efficient way for the body to produce vitamin D, but aging skin is less capable of this synthesis, and many older adults have limited time outdoors. Fatty fish, such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines, provide meaningful dietary amounts. Egg yolks and certain mushrooms exposed to sunlight also contribute. Vitamin D also supports cardiovascular health, and healthy circulation is essential for nerve nourishment. I recommend that everyone over the age of 60 ask their doctor to check their vitamin D level at their next visit, because deficiency is far more common than most people realize, and far more consequential. Vitamin B3, or niacin, is the nerve health nutrient that I find most consistently underestimated by both patients and practitioners. Its most powerful direct contribution to nerve health is its ability to improve blood circulation, particularly in the small blood vessels that supply peripheral nerve tissue. Nerves that receive inadequate blood flow become oxygen-deprived, nutrient-starved, and increasingly dysfunctional over time. Niacin dilates these small vessels and restores the blood flow that nerve tissue needs to stay healthy. It also exerts meaningful anti-inflammatory effects that reduce the chronic low-grade inflammation that silently erodes nerve tissue day after day. I have seen patients who were consuming adequate amounts of every other nutrient still struggle with nerve symptoms. And when niacin was added to their nutritional approach, the improvement was both notable and swift. Niacin also plays a significant role in brain chemistry. It is involved in the production of neurotransmitters that regulate mood, focus, and cognitive clarity, which gives it a broader neurological influence than its basic classification as a B vitamin might suggest. Its dietary sources are pleasingly varied and accessible. Lean meats, including chicken, turkey, and beef, are excellent sources. Whole grains provide it in combination with fiber and other beneficial compounds. Mushrooms are a remarkable plant-based source that deserve far more attention than they typically receive. Avocados, peanuts, and legumes round out a list of everyday foods that make adequate niacin intake achievable for almost anyone. The myelin sheath deserves focused attention because it is, in many ways, the most structurally critical component of the peripheral nervous system. It is the insulating layer that wraps tightly around nerve fibers and makes rapid, accurate signal transmission possible. When myelin is healthy and intact, nerve signals travel cleanly and quickly. When it is damaged or degraded, signals slow down, become erratic, or fail to arrive at all. The experience of this damage is what most people describe as tingling, numbness, burning, or electric shooting pain. Omega-3 fatty acids are the primary dietary building blocks from which the body constructs and repairs myelin. Without a consistent and adequate supply of these fats in the diet, myelin cannot be properly maintained, and the symptoms that follow are both painful and progressive. Most people over the age of 60 are genuinely deficient in omega-3 fatty acids, and the impact of this deficiency on the nervous system is substantial. Damaged fats, including the trans fats and oxidized oils found in processed and commercially fried foods, are not simply neutral or unhelpful. They are structurally destructive when incorporated into nerve cell membranes and myelin. They make these structures rigid, dysfunctional, and far more susceptible to damage. Wild-caught fatty fish, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, and high-quality extra virgin olive oil are the foods that most effectively support the integrity of myelin and the broader health of the neurological system. There is one element of nerve health that my patients consistently overlook, and it is something that costs nothing and requires no special knowledge to address. That element is water. The brain is approximately 75% water. The nervous system relies on proper hydration for the electrochemical processes that make nerve signaling possible. The blood that delivers oxygen and nutrients to every nerve in the body moves optimally only when the body is well hydrated. Yet most people over 60 are living with a constant low-level dehydration that affects their nerve function, their energy, their mood, and their cognition, without them ever connecting it to their fluid intake. When I ask patients how much water they drink each day, the answer is almost always far less than the body needs, and the improvement they experience simply from drinking more is often surprising, even to them. Even mild dehydration shifts the concentration of electrolytes in the blood, which directly disrupts the electrical activity of nerve cells. Over weeks and months of insufficient hydration, blood thickens and slows. Nutrient delivery to peripheral nerves becomes compromised, and the metabolic waste that accumulates around nerve tissue is not cleared efficiently. The mood consequences of dehydration are also significant and frequently overlooked. The brain responds to even small fluid deficits with increased irritability, reduced resilience, and diminished mental sharpness. Drinking 6 to 8 glasses of water daily, not waiting for thirst to prompt you, and limiting diuretic beverages like caffeine and alcohol can make a genuinely meaningful difference to nerve function. Lifestyle factors form the environment in which all of this nutritional work either thrives or fails. Chronic stress is among the most destructive forces working against nerve health in older adults. When psychological pressure becomes persistent and unrelieved, the body releases stress hormones that drive systemic inflammation, accelerate the depletion of B vitamins and magnesium, impair the quality of sleep, and over time cause measurable damage to nerve tissue. Stress management is not a secondary consideration for people who are working to protect their nervous system. It is a primary one, with consequences that are just as real as those of nutritional deficiency. Simple daily practices, such as gentle breathing exercises, time spent in nature, meaningful social connection, and consistent rest, all contribute to a calmer internal environment that supports nerve health from the inside out. Magnesium deserves mention as a mineral that is profoundly important to nerve health and profoundly common in its deficiency. It is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including many that govern nerve firing, muscle relaxation, and stress response. Calcium, working in coordination with magnesium and vitamin D, drives the actual transmission of nerve impulses. Excess dietary sugar promotes glycation, a process that creates toxic compounds from proteins and directly damages nerve tissue over time. Reducing sugar, maintaining mineral balance, staying physically active, even through gentle daily walking, and prioritizing sleep all create the conditions in which the nutritional work we have discussed can produce its full effect. Quality sleep, in particular, is when the nervous system performs its most active repair and regeneration, and protecting that window of rest is one of the most powerful things you can do for your nerve health. As we bring our conversation to a close, I want to leave you with a clear and simple summary of everything we have covered. The B vitamin complex energizes and rebuilds nerve fibers from within. Vitamin C neutralizes the oxidative damage that destroys nerve tissue and supports the collagen framework that holds the nervous system together. Vitamin E protects the fatty myelin sheath that makes fast, accurate nerve signaling possible. Vitamin D regulates the mineral environment that nerve cells depend on. Niacin restores circulation and reduces inflammation in nerve tissue. Healthy omega-3 fats provide the structural materials to rebuild and maintain myelin. And water supports the entire electrochemical system of the nervous system every single day. These 7 nutrients are not separate interventions. They are an interconnected system of support. And when you address them together, their combined effect on your nerve health is far greater than any one of them could produce alone. I am Dr. Alina Serratia, and I want to thank you from the heart for spending this time learning with me today. What I want you to carry with you is not the weight of everything that needs to change, but the lightness of knowing that change is genuinely possible. Small, consistent steps taken over time produce remarkable results in the human body. 1 more serving of leafy greens, 1 handful of walnuts replacing a processed snack, 1 extra glass of water before noon. These are not dramatic gestures. They are quiet, powerful commitments to a nervous system that has been asking for your attention for a very long time. Your body has not given up on you. Do not give up on it. It is never too late to begin. And the body you have right now is more ready to respond than you may believe.